So what you see before you is a severe algal bloom. And this happens when runoff from local farms actually gets into local water systems because fertilizers are actually adding additional nitrates and phosphorus that are actually not supposed to be in our environment in those high quantities. And so this is causing algal blooms, which also kill fish and kill other organisms in that environment. And here we also have an image of the amount of nitrate in public water systems. So our drinking water is also being infected with nitrate, which can have a really negative health cost for our population. And in addition, nitrous oxide emissions are mainly being added to the environment through agricultural soil mismanagement. So this is mainly because we're using these synthetic fertilizers and not managing our soil and runoff correctly. Now, I am working on research that is creating an automated woodchip bioreactor. So a woodchip bioreactor is pretty much a channel under the ground that has microbes and wood chips. And those microbes use the carbon from the wood chips as fuel to turn nitrate into nitrogen, pretty much purifying the water and taking out all of those negative impacts. And what we've been seeing is that these are supposed to last 10 to 20 years without anything adding in addition. But we need to actually pump additional carbon because those wood chips are not a viable carbon source for that long. They only last for about 2 to 3 years. And so then nitrate is going into the waterways no matter if there is a woodchip bioreactor there. So this is my formula that we're going to apply to a completely different topic of diversity. And diversity, obviously everyone knows it's a buzzword, but what are we actually talking about is I'm actually Colombian and white, and as many of you know, engineering and geosciences, there are not many Latinos and not many mixed people, so that can be a somewhat isolating experience. In addition, I identify as non-binary, so I use they, them pronouns, and that can be hard when you're considered a gender minority, and women only make up about 10 to 30% of engineers and geoscience professionals, and non-binary people aren't even really counted in most statistics. So I don't even really get to be put into that group. And so this is really important because also the amount of LGBTQ people and queer people in geosciences and engineering is pretty low, about 3 to 8%. So these experiences can be isolating and can push me and others like me away from actually going into our passions in engineering and geosciences. So why I'm showing you this is that I believe that we can use our academic research and all of these interesting things that we're all innovating to think about diversity in a different way and how to include people in our discussions. So I think that in the same way that we are carbon dosing to help get clear water like that instead of that mucky algal bloom water, we need to create more resources for times of transition and stress for minorities so they don't get caught in this gap pretty much. And this is really important just because just like nitrates getting into the water, without any intervention, it's not going to get any better. So bear with me on this very text-heavy slide. So without intervention, the nitrate runoff is going to cause these algae blooms and overwhelm the ecosystem. In the same way, without intervention, non-diverse people are just going to continue to dominate all of our industries. And so the first step is to install a woodchip bioreactor to catch that nitrate or create programs to uplift diverse people and continue hiring them. But that is simply not enough. We need to create this automated carbon dosing for those high flow and high stress environments that actually always happen because we are human. So in the same way, we need to increase resources in these transitional periods and stressful times so that minorities can also break through those barriers and be able to break down those walls. And so finally, I think that it is really important to keep having talks like this with my other colleagues of many different cultures and backgrounds so that diverse people can really gain that confidence and, be listened to and heard by all of you smart and accomplished professionals. And so Thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate your time.